Ever wish a podcast would explain how to get better faster from the standpoint of longevity, biohacking, and personalized functional medicine? Co-hosts Dr. Jason Bradley and James Chester, along with executive producer Rachel Bradley, bring you the Get Better Faster podcast. Their mission is radically simple: to revolutionize health by connecting people with the experts, technologies, and protocols that mainstream medicine ignores. Because people deserve to get better faster.
Hello, Get Better Faster Nation. I am Dr. Jason Bradley, and along with my co-host, the one and the only James Chester, and our incredible executive producer, Rachel Bradley, we want to welcome you to another exciting episode of the Get Better Faster podcast. Today, we're joined by our friend, Dr. Tiffany Roberts, a true pioneer in the field of holistic healing and consciousness transformation. I can't wait to dive into that. Dr. Roberts is the founder of Holographic manipulation therapy, a revolutionary approach that's literally changing how we understand the mind-body connection. She's a neurolinguistic practitioner, a clinical hypnotherapist, a master's level nutritionist, has doctorates in metaphysics, natural medicine, and soon theology, and is also the president and founder of Psychosomatic University. She's an author, educator, dedicated homeschooling mom, and somehow also just released her groundbreaking 9th book called The Spirit-Led CEO and a program around that. I can't wait to hear more about all of this. Without further ado, Dr. Tiffany, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, quite the introduction. I'm impressed by so much of the stuff. And off camera, I was just mentioning, look, this show gets a chance to grab the smartest, brightest, most just biggest group of healers that you can find. And whether it's physical, chemical, or emotional stress, we're getting people to talk about how they're getting people better faster. And I'm just over the moon with having you on as a guest. I know we had your husband Gabe on, which was really cool a couple weeks ago. And we also know that you guys are holding a great workshop out in Broken Arrow in October the 23rd through 25th. But as a guest on our show, one of the things I'm always most curious about when we open up is getting you to share that one moment where you found that you had some approach that could get people better faster. I know you have this unique technique called holographic manipulation therapy. Can you explain to me how that landed and how you're actually helping people with that technique?
Yeah, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
I want to start out with I want to go deep, but also, what the heck is holographic manipulation therapy? Let's start there and then go really deep from there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great non-invasive technique, and a lot of people might be offhand with hypnosis. Maybe they're a little scared of that. The more that we dived into all of this, we learned that, hypnosis doesn't really go as deep as we need to because it's someone else providing that suggestion for you. And you get that critical faculty and you can't go beyond that. But with the person being able to do it themselves by being guided and bridging the physical body with the subconscious body, that bridge opens up that critical faculty and you're able to open up a world of memories and issues that you really want to dive into and able to reverse them, and it doesn't come back. We all have onion layers, right? We have to continually work on ourselves to really transform the way we want to, but really getting into that first seed of where that trauma happened or where that event happened. I don't really like using trauma because it's kind of overused, because it could be something that's not met, a need that's not met as a child. But we go back to that first seed planting experience, and we just ask certain questions. Where do you feel it in your body? Because everything starts with a feeling, and it might not be a label of angry or anything like that. It's a vibration. It's a twinge. It's a ting, inside your body. That's where everything is happening. And this is where we can connect it with holographic manipulation therapy. You're doing different activities and you're able to clear all of that.
Can I ask you, is this we're in the same room, or you do this through Zoom, or do you do this through groups, or how does it
Yeah,
integrate into
all of
people's
the
lives?
above. Yeah, all of the above. We're 100% virtual. In
Mhm.
2019, right before COVID, we went 100% virtual. And now it's cool to be virtual. So, so yeah, we do everything through Zoom.
Wow.
I find that really curious because we also went fully virtual in 2019 pre-pandemic. And I remember at the time, our colleagues, I mean, everybody, it's just like, "What are you doing? How does that work? You guys are crazy." And
Right?
then, I mean, by April of 2020, I mean, that was in November of 2019, and by April of 2020, since we had already worked out all the kinks and bugs with
We were
Zoom and all that, we were helping other people get
yeah,
set up and keeping I'm sure you guys were too, but I mean, just really interesting. I call it divine intervention. I
yes,
mean, some divine download was like, "You need to get out of your brick and
yes,
mortar and go online,"
yes.
And yeah. I
It
don't know what we
totally
would have done.
saved us. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, we were not panicked. We were like, "This is like
Yeah.
everyday life for us." So
Yeah, well, exactly, it was everyday life, and I think that and I mean, and, knowing you guys, for as long as we've all known each other, I think it gave some of us an opportunity to kinda step up and into a leadership or a guidance role at that time, rather than scrambling.
yeah,
We didn't need to scramble, and we were able
right.
to say, "Hey, here's some." And so, I also think that gave some of us boy, what rabbit hole are we going down right now? It also gave some of us maybe a little bit more clarity on the data,
Yeah,
that was coming around, whether or not you can trust that data or not, but
right?
and I
Yeah.
think for those of us that had that space to interpret that data, we all came to different conclusions than the media was coming to. But then again, maybe that's a different topic for a different
Whole
discussion.
'nother world. We could talk several hours
And it
on
all
that.
started with the divine download to go
That's right.
online in 2019. Okay, James, I'm going to hand it back to you, Mark.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can think about the same thing. I've been doing like in-person chiropractic marketing for years and going out to events where it's essential for me to be out where people are. So I feel like I was rugged. I felt like they pulled the rug from underneath me. I was also doing podcasts and virtual work too, but it definitely shook the whole marketplace up for people that were established in systems and
Mhm.
business models. And those that couldn't adapt,
Yeah,
wow, that's the part where it's most challenging to think about. Those are the people that need therapy from you.
Yes.
I love it. Hey, I want to go back to something I think that I heard you sort of say, and I was doing my best to keep notes. And I mean, I thought it was beautiful, but and I don't even think in the note I'm going to read that it has the word I want to bring up. But let me make sure I understood it. So basically, with holographic manipulation therapy, we're able to peel. This is what I wrote down. We're able to peel back layers of subconsciousness, or I'm sorry, of consciousness to get into that subconscious area where those seeds or those triggers. We tried not to use the word trauma, but those
Yeah.
unmet needs or whatever it was, those early events, situations were planted, those seeds, and then try to make peace with
Mhm.
whatever those triggers were with, right? But the
Right.
word I heard, I don't know if you said undo or rewrite or recode or something was like, we can basically change your memory, is what I heard. And I want to understand, did I hear that right? And what does that mean?
Yeah, so you're always gonna have that memory, right? But you have the power to go in and rewrite it. If it's something that happened that you don't like or it caused an issue within you, you're able to go in and tell that memory, "Okay, I want it to happen this way." And we go in and we write it the way that it needs to be fulfilled, to meet that need that wasn't met or reverse that trauma, I guess, during that moment so that the nervous system knows that it's not under attack anymore.
Mm,
So we're not erasing your memory, but we're rewriting it in a way that best suits to let your nervous system know I'm no longer in threat. This situation is over now and I
Yeah.
can move forward and heal.
Well, I usually wait till like the end to ask this question of like miraculous like healing. But I think after you're talking about this, I'm just curious, like, can you share with us like early on in their conversation today, like a case that you've seen that this has been like transformational breakthrough that, we can share with our audience? Cause I've personally never heard anything like this. So I think it's really cool that Jason's asking this deeper dive question. Then I'm like, well, practicality, I want to hear about like, how has somebody's life changed with this?
There's so many different clients that we've worked with.
And I hear that all the time too. Let's just focus on one person
Yeah,
that
like
like
how am I gonna find the right one here to tell you? I guess I could go with my own story.
sure.
Um, my parents were just loving parents, the best that they know how, right? But I still had issues going forward. I picked a wrong relationship to be in before Gabe and was there for 10 years. But what made me do that? What made me, from a loving family, what made me go to a man that wasn't great? And that's a whole nother topic. But so what made me be drawn to that person? Going back, and I know this might seem, a little weird, but going back and doing all of our holographic stuff, I'm going back to a person that is in Victorian times, and she's in an abusive relationship where the man is very aggressive and dominant, and she wanted to speak and she couldn't speak. I've had thyroid issues, so that's where the voice comes from, is your thyroid in the subconscious, and it was being suppressed. And I was able to go back in that ancestor and be able to give her the courage and the strength and the empowerment that she needed to move forward, break free, whatever she needed to do. And then when I come back, I'm actually able to speak with you today. I can tell you this, 4 years from earlier, I would not be on this podcast. I would be too afraid to do it. I wouldn't be able to
Mm.
speak. And doing all of that inner work has allowed me to be able to have that voice and not be afraid. So that's just a little bit of mine. We've had women that have had very bad digestive issues. I mean, oh, I would say borderline Crohn's, not able to travel, enjoy life. And going back into that initial seed planting, she was able to recreate that memory that she needed, erase whatever damage was done, and move forward. And she's going on vacations. She's emailed me, it's been about a year, maybe a year and a half now. And she's living life. She went on an Alaskan cruise. That's something that she would never be able to do before. So those are just the little miracles.
It's phenomenal hearing it. I think there's a lot of people out there that are curious about it even more now because they're all probably thinking that tap the shoulder moment. Hey, I have somebody.
Yeah.
I have somebody I could send to you.
Yeah.
And maybe it's that thing, the thing that the condition whisperer, I don't know. But like you can get to like the condition and help these people with your methods. And it could be something like you said earlier, physical body with subconscious body. When you start working with those two together, I think that that's kind of like the woo woo part of like where we are with the medical model is
Right.
people don't know how to actually move those things moving in real time together. It's like,
And
you gotta work on this one, but that other part doesn't exist, and by the way, I'm not gonna tell you how to eat or how to exercise, but
yeah,
we're just gonna work on that one part.
right. But if you think about it, maybe our generation is the first to really try to start talking about our feelings. But, our parents and grandparents, you didn't talk about your feelings. You suppress those. You don't talk about that. You don't rock the boat. What we're trying to do is say, you don't have to talk to me about anything. I don't have to know anything that you're doing, anything that's going on in your mind. As long as you're able to follow the directions, you don't have to share anything with me. It still works.
Yeah, you're right, we come from the fall off the thing and rub dirt on it culture.
Yeah, right? We're drinking out of the hose and everything. We don't come back until dark, so
Jason,
yeah.
do you wanna jump in and,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm like still taking all of this in, right? Because I'm thinking through, man, a few years ago, and I doubt that this even registers on the Doctors Roberts timeline here, but a number of years ago, your incredible husband posted something that ruffled my feathers.
Uh-huh.
And
He does that a lot.
yeah, and I think it was something like, and I'm gonna bastardize this. This is not what he said. But what it sounded like he said was, "Man, if you get your head straight, you don't even need functional medicine." And it wasn't quite like that, but basically that, right? And I'm like, "Man, I am deep
Mhm.
in the trenches and I am seeing people getting their head straight and they still have
Yeah.
chemical imbalances and they still have to eat this way." And anyway, the point that I'm making is at the time I ruffled my feathers, right? But in retrospect, many years later now, this wasn't like last week, many years later, and I've said this on shows before. James has heard me say it. Rachel's heard me say it. I say it publicly all the time on social media and everywhere I am. The longer I do my job, whatever that job is, the longer I'm in this world of healing and wellness and biohacking and energy and frequency medicine and whatever it is that we're doing, the thing that I'm seeing, the equalizer for everybody across all stratospheres and incomes and educations is what's between our ears.
Yep.
I mean, it literally is our belief system, the enculturation that we got, our self-limiting beliefs, the false narratives that we tell each other, that running voice that keeps saying, you know what, you're not really good enough. You're not good enough. You're probably not able to do this. You're probably going to fail anyway. People are going to make fun of you. They're already talking about you. I mean, and I don't know, maybe that's my running voice, but I think that we all have some version of something there. And what I'm hearing, again, on the longer I do whatever it is that we're doing, the more I keep gravitating to experts like you who are helping people like me and James and Rachel and our listeners and, the Fortune 500 CEOs break through whatever's going on in here. It's not just thinking your way out of it, because if your brain isn't thinking the way it's supposed to with the beliefs that, that's been Anyway, I'm fascinated about this. That's where I am, James, in the rabbit hole. I'm fascinated by I get it and I'm hearing it. And now I want to know more about it. And how can an average person listening, start to implement some type of breakthrough or is there something we can do on our own? This is what I'm asking. That's my next question. Is there something people can do, myself included?
And then I have some really cool follow-ups to this stuff too.
Is there something I can do to start deprogramming, reprogramming? I don't even know the right words to use anymore, Tiffany. So I mean,
know.
Right? Unlearning,
Right?
relearning,
Yeah.
remembering. Maybe we're remembering.
Right? Yes, we're remembering who we were because we were from divine.
Yes.
And as soon as we came on this earth, we are programmed to believe that we are separate. That's where the real damage is coming from.
Yes.
And I get passionate about that. Sorry. But we're programmed to believe that we're broken. And we're not broken. The system is broken. We just have to remember that we are part of a divine intervention and we are more powerful than we can ever explain. And I live it my life. And when I falter away from that, bad things happen. I bring myself back to that divine. It's amazing the miracles that can actually happen in your life. So yes, we are remembering. And the hardest thing that you can do, and probably the first step that's the most important, is to catch those lies. Because that's what it is. It's lies telling you that you are not good enough, that you are not pretty enough, that you're not handsome enough, that you don't have enough money, that you don't have enough of anything, but you are enough. And we have to remember that we are. That's the hardest part. And if we can catch those thoughts and say, no, I don't accept that, reject, thrown in the trash can. Now I'm going to insert, I'm the opposite of that.
The past couple of days, I've been doing yoga now for 80 days. But the past couple of days while I'm in yoga, I tell myself these things. James, you're healing. James, you're healthy. James, you're amazing. And I've just seen my life take a whole completely left turn lately, just with that small thing that I do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the 80 days of yoga that has drawn me to that point where I'm like, okay, this is where my mind is gone now while I'm doing this process. But I was having a hike last night with a friend of mine, and I said, look, the world needs as Dr. Jason was mentioning, the world needs a checkup from the neck up. Just the people out there like us three, but the rest of the world even. So if we're doing the work, that means everybody should really be doing this type of work, and they just don't know where to go or who to trust. So I think when these types of conversations starts to, like you said, peel back that layer, but it gives people another idea to think about that is nonlinear. It's non-big box medicine. It's on the fringes, if you ask me, how people explore themselves to get to the bottom of what's actually their problem.
Mm.
But I was even telling my friend I was hiking with, I said, look, if we just went around the world, and I know Dr. Jason's chiropractor, and I know you're affiliated with chiropractic, but if we just adjusted the politicians and the governors and the mayors and the Congress people around the world, the people in like parliament, and just adjusted C1 and C2 on them, we would have a whole different landscape of the world that we all see because they wouldn't be under the same type of micro stressors. And back to what Dr. Jason was saying earlier, their heads would be on straight.
Literally.
And we have a lot of people out there without their heads on straight. But when you start thinking about what that does to their emotional state's off balance. And when you start thinking about the harmony of their body and the frequency and the tone, everything's off. So by what you're doing is you're reprogramming that subconscious with the physical. But structurally, if we just got everybody's damn head on straight, we'd have a whole different world we'd all be living in. And your work would probably integrate a whole lot easier.
Well, you know what? Think of this. There was a study done, and there just knowing everyone around you, everyone is thinking negative thoughts at some point in their day, right?
Right?
And probably more than
A
more
bad
so.
signal.
Yeah, exactly. But if you spend at least 30 minutes going inside and connecting with that divine and you're recalibrating your positive thoughts, your energy alone, just you, is affecting 70,000 people around you. It might be even more. It might be even 90,000. I can't remember the exact number of the study, but that's a lot. So if I'm doing it and you're doing it and you're doing, how many people are we affecting in this world just by connecting ourselves, right? And if they become in a better vibration, then they're going to affect more people.
Mm.
And that's where I took her too on this conversation. I go, it's all tone.
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
go, if somebody has a heart attack, low tone. They got sick. If somebody has a cold, low tone. If somebody's dealing with some type of healing process, low tone. If somebody's injured, the tone shifts. If
Mm.
somebody's ideas are bad, their tone shifts. And it's like, really, we're all lightness and tone. So if we can turn the dimmer switch up on our light and correct the tone of our thoughts and toxins and traumas, then the body starts to self-regulate and self-heal. It's pretty amazing. And then get
Yeah.
adjusted to it.
Absolutely. And if you get your vibration into your mental state and your vibration into a equal state, those supplements and everything else that you're doing
Mhm.
around that is going to be amplified.
Mhm.
Now you're actually going to see the miracles with the supplements that were meant to be. I really believe in herbs, and I mean, I have essential oils everywhere around me. So I truly believe in that. But if you're in a negative state, no matter what you put into your body, it's really not going to give you the miracle that you deserve if you are not doing the internal work too.
Oh.
Amen, sister.
Yeah, and double amen. And I think there's just so much here. And I've been trying to keep notes and I've been trying to keep organized notes. And honestly, like, I mean, it's since we're talking about thoughts, I mean, I feel like I'm a little free thought here, but I did want to say a couple of things going back when we were talking about what's something that someone can do actionable now. And you said, I think the first thing that people can do is just have some awareness of, again, the thought pattern,
Yeah.
the belief system, those pieces. And so I was thinking about, man, it's been a wild ride of a month for Rachel and I with the amount of tools that we've picked up from various like amazing experts and self-growth experts and relationship experts. And I'm always proud of Rach and I as of people and growing ourselves and in our relationship. But holy crap, in the last month it's been so much, right? Anyway, one of these things that I'm going to share, the awareness, I agree, the awareness. And the second thing that I've picked up on is by reading Dr. Carolyn Leaf's book, and I think it's called Cleaning Up Your Mental Mess. I don't know if anybody's read that. It's a great book, easy to read, and a really practical, simple way to organize your thoughts for the day. But all that said, she said something that reminded me of something I've heard from a lot of different people, which was there's a space between the trigger, like whatever that trigger is, and the response or the reaction. And so many of us have lost the ability to have that space. Like it's like something happens and we have a reaction.
Yeah.
And she's like, if we can, with the awareness of, oh, there it goes. Whether it's an internal thought or an external thought that triggered an
Right.
internal thought or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
as soon as you're aware of it, she's like, just take a minute.
Wow.
Not even a minute. She's like, take 30 seconds, do a few deep breaths. Take 90 seconds if you need it. And she's like, just getting out of that sympathetic, excitatory reaction, fight or flight, like immediate knee jerk response. And she's like, your left brain, your rational brain will take over and you can have a much more like, not that we don't want to listen to our emotions, but maybe a more emotionally regulated, response. And that's where the real power comes in. And it's now since I picked up on that little tool in the last month and hearing your whole thing about awareness, I see that those two things are very powerful tools. Trying to stay aware and trying to give that space. And especially in media, since we have to think on our toes and not have dead air, I want to keep talking, right, all the time. So
Right.
having that space to be like, I'm going to be quiet for 30 seconds or a minute
Have
now.
you ever tried to just go live and just be there for a minute without saying anything?
Not on purpose,
Not on
I mean,
purpose, but you know what? That would be the most powerful thing you could do probably for
right,
everyone, especially if you have a good intention in your heart and you're just sitting there.
right. I kind of like that
We're
idea.
always so uncomfortable with silence, right? We have to feel it. Like you just said, I have to
Right.
keep talking, right? But what if we just sat here, all the three of us, for just a minute with our good intentions? What kind of power would that be? Kind of,
Wow.
is it freaking you out?
So when I used to, yes, but let me explain. And I do think it'd be a cool experiment if y'all are wanting to do it. But so I used to teach boards reviews for doctors getting licensed, right? And so my job was to compress, 4 or 5 years of school into
Right.
like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
So I had to teach a lot of stuff very quickly. And one of them was, when you're going through your physical, like your practical physical, this or that. And if they ask you to do something for a minute, like you need to make sure it's a minute. And so we would take a whole thing like, hey, we're going to have you breathe for a minute. Right. And they're like, okay, everyone be quiet and just look at your breaths for a minute. And it's like, it's a long minute. I mean, like 60 seconds doesn't seem like that long, but to sit in silence, and especially in a group, like even though this is a small, immediate group here, we have a group of three and Rachel in the green room, and our listeners, I mean, it's still 60 seconds is a lot. So my heart pitter patter is just
Mhm.
more like, I know what that feels like to be on the end of that, but I'm totally willing to try it. And I think
Good.
it's really powerful. James, are you down for it?
I've been quiet for the last minute, so I can do another one.
Yeah, and being married to me, Rachel's like, I could be quiet for like 10 minutes,
Thank you.
What are you guys saying about me? You know?
All right, I'll set a timer. Let's try
Okay.
this.
Let's connect to our hearts and do it for
Uh,
a minute.
In real life, on a live recording, I have the timer started now. There's a minute.
Wow.
That feel good? Bet you've never done that on a podcast, huh?
First time ever.
Wow. And then if anybody else followed us during that time, can you feel it?
I'm just curious to ask each of you in like a synopsis. Where did you go during that minute?
I went to Divine. I connected with Divine during that time. Opened up my heart center, white light.
Nice.
What about you, Doc?
Wow, that's interesting because I was also in a white space. I'm not sure what that white space is. The interesting, I hadn't thought about the color around me. So that's super interesting. And the first place I went to was something called the triple sevens. It's a breathing technique. And basically it's 7 seconds in, 7 seconds out, and doing that 3 times. I mean, that's roughly 45 seconds. So I knew that that was going to be roughly 45 seconds. This is my left brain taking.
You're timing it out.
I was timing it out, right? So I was doing a little bit of breath work, but some
Yeah.
time breath work. But then in the last 15 seconds, I did do my best to commune with, connect with divine, and specifically connect with, I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. So I trust the divine is just going to make it sound, the way it's supposed to sound. So whatever I'm saying right now is part of this whole 1 minute meditation that we did. So I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Perfect.
Yeah, for me, I was thinking about how connected I was with my body at that moment
Hmm.
and how what we're doing, our signals are all clear and how our message is going to get to so many people.
Yeah.
And this will give other people permission to take a break of their life
Yeah.
where they didn't know that they could do that before, because we're always supposed to fill in the white space. I've been dealing this with a lot of my own personal schedule lately. I'm like, if there's not something on it, somebody wants to put something on it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, nothing else is going on that time of that day. If that day doesn't have something on it, it's going to be white space for me. And I think that that's a huge thing for people to have to get to eventually too. It's just because there's people in their life, sometimes they just need their own time to be with themselves and not be busy. No more Zoom calls, no more phone calls. Have a day. And I think that that's something that we oftentimes feel guilty about because we're all working on multiple projects. We're all thinking about what the future holds for us. We're all thinking about the thing we didn't do. And the next thing we know, we don't take any time to ourselves.
Mhm.
So that 1 minute exercise, I believe everybody each day should just take 1 minute to themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Just 1 minute.
Absolutely.
I was speaking at, literally, I was in the belly of the beast, everybody. I was at Genentech, and they were, GMO food scientists, right? And, anyway, I also had the flu that day really bad, and I almost canceled, but, I let them know, and I made a joke, 300 food scientists in the room. I made a joke I said something like, "Hey, you guys probably heard I have the flu, so I hope you all got the memo that we're not gonna do the, traditional kissing of the presenter after the talk." And I kid you not, they all looked at each other, and I could see their mouths saying, "Did you get a memo?" Like, I mean, it was the most interesting thing. But at any rate, at that particular talk, I asked this question, 300 food scientists, how many of you guys take 1 minute a day just to be with yourself and breathe and whatever that is, commune, set intention, relax, whatever it is, just 1 minute. And there was one guy that raised his hand, one person, in that whole group. And I realized that was many years ago. I realized that, like, as James just said, that 1 minute, everybody should take that, like, at least. And if you're not doing it, do it. And if you're not doing it and you think like, when would I ever do that? It's 1 minute. It's 60 seconds. You can do it.
Yeah.
Well, this takes me back, Jason. You set the platform so great there,
I tried.
Doctor, and Dr. Tiffany. This is really like an awesome time to ask this. In your experience, what are the biggest gaps that you see in conventional medicine and even alternative therapies approach and how they approach chronic pain and subconscious blocks? Where do you see the gaps for what you're doing and like the pill, potion, lotion style therapeutic big box medicine, medical mafia? Like, how do you see what you do fits into that?
You know, we there's so many gaps. I could go on
Well,
for
this is gonna be good because this
yeah,
is like what people are thinking right now. They're like, "Well, I have damn it Crohn's and
yeah.
I have ADHD, damn it, and I have this autoimmune thing." Like, all right, well, let's get down to see where the gaps are and how you fill them.
The most important thing is, how do they feel about themselves? Is your doctor asking you that? What are the
Mm,
thoughts that you say it to yourself every day?
I'm sure people would cry a lot.
Yeah. And that's the gap. The medical system is great in an emergency situation, don't get me wrong.
Well, maybe you
Um,
should cry there too, not panic
we
cry.
should. Yes. But like if
Not
we're
injured,
go
I'm gonna get cut open cry.
right. But if we're going to a doctor and we've seen 20 other doctors, and we think, oh, this person's going to give us the answer. But has
That's what
any
they
of
all
them,
think.
yes, and has any of them asked that person, what do you think about yourself? Do you love yourself? What are the nice things that you say to yourself? I bet you they've never been asked that.
Hmm.
It's interesting. It's
That's a huge
interesting.
gap.
Yeah, it is. It is too. And I think also, man, the first thing that came to mind, I can't remember his name, but man, the old SNL skit, Saturday Night Live skit, which was it Smalley. Yeah, you remember that? And he's like, I love myself and people like me and God's trying to people like me or whatever that was. And I think it's interesting because we're talking about like taking a moment to like love yourself and pour into yourself. And it's interesting because we have this whole skit that's, past its prime for sure. I mean, it's like 40 years old now or whatever it is. But I think people still laugh at it. But really what it is kind of poking fun at like loving yourself and pouring into yourself. I mean, we haven't even talked about like strategies like mirror work. And I mean, there's so much that we could bring in here to working with the self and finding that space. But it's just interesting because what I'm trying to say is it's a skill that's not taught. I mean, shoot, when I think back to like what did we need to learn through school? Nervous system regulation, community, self-love, how to change a tire and oil and how to
Right.
manage money. I mean, if we just learned that and nothing else, we would be far better humans and a society than we are
Right.
today. The rest we can figure out,
Yes.
but at any rate, it's interesting because it's almost like a stigma or like, oh, it's woo woo. I mean, people are like, oh, that's woo woo. Why is it woo?
I
Why is
also think I
Why isn't
also
the other
think
stuff woo woo?
well, why is the other stuff woo woo? Like if they're
right,
like, did you even try loving yourself? No. Come back after you've tried to love yourself for 12 weeks,
right?
And eat one
Yes.
cookie.
Yeah.
But I think that we're also I don't wanna, like, ruffle feathers or anything, but I also think that
Ruffle away, please. We need to ruffle feathers.
okay.
I mean, listen, you know what? Here's the deal. When we were forming the podcast, this is what I know. We're in a dark world. We're in a
Yeah,
dark world. For some reason, we're in a dark world right now. And there's some of us that have some lights and some beacons, and let's just shine a light through it. So, I
I
mean,
got the
if that
light.
if that ruffles feathers, who cares? I
Yeah,
mean, that's
Maybe
great. Let's
they're woo
ruffle.
woo.
Yeah.
good. Well, I also think that we're religiously traumatized, and I mean that lightly, but, I also feel that we don't love ourselves because it's pride or it's something that
Mm,
we shouldn't think of ourselves, we should think of others. Now,
mm,
we should think of others, right? But if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love anyone else, especially your children or your husband or your wife? You can't truly love make waves. I'm waving. But like we're traumatized not just from society and school systems and that's a whole nother topic in the medical field, but we're also traumatized in a organized
mm,
religion.
mhm,
And so I think that if we give our permission to ourselves that it's okay to really truly
mm.
like who I am, then we can fully heal.
I know James has something to say to this, but Dr. Tiffany, you're like, this is deep for
Yeah.
anyone. Like if you go back and sometimes James says this, if you've got a notepad, you should be taking notes and then go back and watch this again and look at your notes because while we're talking about this stuff, this is actually super deep and super cutting edge. Like, I mean, it's like we're just having a conversation, but Dr. Tiffany is dropping like gold here. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, it's the old trilogy. The preachers, teachers, parents. Who did you learn that from?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's dogmatic. It's
Mhm.
the block we grew up on.
Yep.
It's whether we're a man or a woman. How do
Mhm.
we approach these things based on who taught it to us?
Mm-hmm.
How do we build our identity around it? And really, it's like, who is your teacher, preacher, or parent? And
Mm-hmm.
what neighborhood did you grow up in? Is how a lot of people allow themselves to handle these things. And boys aren't supposed to cry type thing. And really, that's where you start to find out who you are and that responsibility to build a life that you want, not the one that somebody told you you're supposed to have. And that's congruency
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, where'd you say preachers, teachers,
and
and
parent,
and parents, right? So
the
it's interesting.
trilogy.
the trilogy, right? So it's interesting because if I think about adverse childhood experiences and all of those things, I mean, who did those things? I mean, it
Yep.
was the parents, the teachers, and the preachers, right? And then I think about and Dr. Tiffany started to go there a little bit, I think. Um, or referenced a little bit, about spirit and about the divine. And it's interesting because we've been church hurt. So many people have been church hurt. I mean, in one way or another,
Or
feeling
religious dogma hurt.
or religious dogma hurt. Yeah, I don't even want to label it, but I mean, and so to a certain extent, and then you look at society, it's in vogue right now to reject all of it. So now it's like like, oh, that stuff hurt me. And you know what? Religious dogma hurts a lot of people. I don't want to poo-poo that. It does. It hurt me.
Yeah.
But there's like a throwing the baby out with the bathwater, like,
Mm.
oh, and it's in vogue to just reject it. So so now we're totally disconnected from the divine. We're also told some kind of weird thing from society where we need to always think of others first and don't be hedonistic. And yet at the same time, continually compare yourself to everybody
Mhm.
being hedonistic and posting about how great their lives are.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, it's a schism in our psyche. You can't achieve that. It's unachievable to be that way. And we've disconnected ourselves from the divine to have a purpose that's above the line and pulls it all together. And we're just floundering. That's what's going on with our society.
Yep.
I feel like what you're talking about, getting into the subconscious, right? Because our conscious brains that are broken and programmed the way that they are not going to fix themselves because they're broken. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't say they're broken. They could, I mean, that's the wrong word, but they're disordered. They're
Yeah.
I'll use the right psychological
Right.
term, right? Well,
You're not broken.
we have disordered thoughts. There we go. Right. So I'm a Gen X guy. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
modern is like we have disordered thoughts. Old school, I'm like, we're all broken, man.
Yeah.
So at any rate,
Let's put the pieces together.
put these together, right? But anyway, we have disordered thoughts. I think that getting into HMT, holographic manipulation therapy, really can be a tool, a really strong tool to help people get past their conscious programming
Yep.
and into that subconscious, and then not just program, but then what I'm hearing is reprogramming. Like literally, it's almost like reparenting. I mean,
Mhm.
like with people that do child work, it's like that, but it's even deeper than that because it's
It is. Because here's the thing that I've been contemplating, and I'm constantly working myself too. You're not just fixing yourself.
mm,
You are fixing your past generations and anyone moving forward. And this is where it gets really powerful. I have a lot of people ask me, well, how do I fix my kid? My kid is sick. How do I do it? What do I do for HMT for my kid? Stop. You've got to think about yourself and fix yourself, because by you doing your vibration, it honestly will help your children.
Old
And then
school
if they have,
saying.
yeah, and if they also have issues afterwards, then we can work on that. But first and foremost, you have the responsibility. If
mm,
you're watching this podcast right now you have a responsibility that you need to understand that you've got to fix your baggage before you can even fix anyone else's. But you're also helping the lineage of your parents or grandparents and their parents and anyone moving forward, you know?
They
yeah,
become who they are because they didn't fix themselves.
Yes. It's just
And
we say it's generational.
generational,
Yeah, it's genetics, right?
right?
Well, it's because it's passed down and nobody's
Yeah,
had the guts to fix themselves so that everyone else could be fixed
maybe
too.
not guts, maybe knowledge.
knowledge.
True.
I think if
I
people knew how easy it was, they'd just do it.
Well, and
So it's
honestly,
not a
it's
gutty
it's
thing.
not as easy as, just, "Oh, I'm fixed now." It's a daily thing. Like,
yeah,
Gabe
Well,
and I still work on ourselves daily.
it's back to the old saying, if mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
right.
Well,
And that's like as true as you get from the neighborhood. And that's as true as you get to like understanding like the dysfunction. So when
Right.
mom's happy, you hear the other one, happy wife, happy life. And that's the vibrational frequency of this tone.
And with both of those, men are just along for the ride. That's what I'm gathering from that.
but you know what? I tell you this, like, honestly, and that's why I love you and Rachel, Jason, is that you both are trying to grow together. There are a lot of couples out there where they're just, maybe one person is working to grow, and that's not bad. That's actually good because you're going to change the vibration and frequency within the household. But if you truly want a marriage that is one that you're so happy to wake up with, and don't get me wrong, there's gonna be days where things are, clashing, but if you both are on the journey, your marriage and your connection will be stronger than you had ever thought it would be.
I agree with that, and there's so much to unpack here, right? So I just thank you for that and those kind words, and, I will say with whatever growth that we have as a couple, it's often Rachel leading the pack and
Mhm.
saying like, "Hey, I came across this. Do you wanna look at
Yeah.
it?" And next thing I know, I'm like, "That's the coolest thing I've ever heard."
Right?
It's just that I get out in front of the camera and social media more, so people are like, "That guy knows so much." I'm like, "It's my wife. Like, she's the brains and the beauty of the operation." And James is like, "It's true. It's true." I know I know them well. But, it's interesting because when I'm hearing us talk, about this, and I'm gonna talk about, like, going down the rabbit hole a little bit more because I heard you say something, and then I remembered the word holographic, and then I remembered that a hologram it's like a fractal. The more
Mhm.
you break it down, it still contains all the pieces of the
Yes.
whole,
Yes.
right? So I've said this before and not gone down the rabbit hole deep enough, but I'm convinced that we're all fractals of one source. And
Yes.
I'm convinced, not believe, I'm convinced
Mhm.
that we have that divine in us. That,
Yes.
and I think that most people that have some type of religious or spiritual background probably get what I'm saying, like God is in you. But I literally mean the full hologram, the
Mhm.
full experience of God is part of my hologram, right?
Yes.
And anyway, and I have a conscious brain that's filtering through that. Anyway, I know this is where I am, but this is what hit me when you said, and when you're talking about working with kids,
Mhm.
they were like, "How can HMT help my kid? They've got ADHD and they're
Mhm.
obstacle defiant and they won't sit still in school and they're all these things." I'm sure there's more to it than that.
There's more
And
to
they have
that. I'm kidding.
and they have GI problems and they have all this other stuff, headaches
Right.
and everything, right? How can HMT help them? And you're like, one because we do this when we work with kids with from a functional internal medicine point of view. I'm like, we're really working with the parents. Like, and
Yeah.
I tell the parents that. I'm like, it's not the kid. It's like, we're gonna work
Yeah.
with you guys. And I hear you saying the same thing. And I realized, and I'm going to say what we do and then blow everybody away with what you do. When we do that and we work with the family or the parents, it's really,
Mhm.
that it does change the whole family. There's a ripple
Yeah.
effect. I mean, there's a whole ripple effect.
Mhm.
Yes, frequency, all of that. But when people are working specifically with the intention of the hologram and helping peel back the layers between that hologram subconscious, non-conscious true self and the conscious experience that we're filtering through, the work that you're doing as it's changing, increasing probably the frequency that people are vibrating at, here's the cool thing. It affects the frequency of the hologram around,
Yes.
like, of all of us, not just around
Yes.
them, everybody.
Yes.
So, working on yourself, boy, this is a long way to get there. Working on yourself is actually a gift
Yep.
to everybody around you and the whole world. And
Yeah.
can you guys, I mean, if we just pause and think about that, and I'm gonna turn right over to the expert because you're the expert, but I'm from Fairfield, Iowa, and it's known as the Transcendental Meditation Capital of the world. And so the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, famous for the Beatles and the Beach Boys and all those types of people, decided that we in Fairfield, Iowa, the middle of nowhere cornfield, is the exact place where all the different energies, come together to like magnify thoughts. And so his idea was that if people could get together, tens of thousands of people in that town, and then also around the world, a couple of times a day at the same time, all together, and focus their thoughts on world peace, that we could get world peace. And I'm not saying he's right or wrong, but the idea, could everybody just imagine for a second that we all went in with the intention of how can I make my light? How can I shine? How can, not for myself, but how can I reflect the hologram? How can I be the best version of this hologram that I can be for myself, but for others, my family, my friends, my coworkers, my colleagues, my church mates, the guy that's walking past me on the street or the guy asking for
Yeah.
money? How can I be the brightest light, the brightest refraction of that I can be? And can you guys imagine if we all did that, just like the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, tens of thousands of people,
Yep.
8 billion people every day in the world, if we all took a second to do that, we would be in a different world.
We
Like
really would.
like amazingly different world. And it's
Yes.
that simple. Just like James was saying, it's that simple. It's that
Eh,
simple.
well, you gotta adjust the atlases too and get the heads on straight.
Sure.
Um, but what you're saying there, Jason, I'm gonna summarize it really easy. Louis Armstrong said, "When you smile, the whole world is smiling,
Yes.
and when you laugh, the whole world is laughing."
Yeah.
And I think that it is transcendental. So the Maharaji dude had this stuff on lock that if everybody had a good vibrational frequency each day, the world would have a great vibrational frequency each day. And there would be world peace because people would be happy
Yeah.
and they'd be smiling. And there wouldn't be time. There's a saying that you can't laugh and cry at the same time. Or no, you can't frown and smile at the same time. Yeah, you can't frown and smile at the same time. So they use different sets of muscles. And actually, you use less muscles in your face to actually
Yep.
smile than frown. So it's really an easier thing for people to do. If they want the easy button, smile all day. But I want to go back to you, Tiffany, because I think that was some good filler stuff there. But going back to you, I'm sure there's people out there listening. They're saying, this won't work for me.
Mm.
What's your response to that group?
Well, as long as you think that, it won't.
Mm.
If you're thinking, "Well, this won't work for me," then it won't, because it's, again, in your thoughts. If you
Because,
say, "I'm gonna give it a chance, and I'm gonna release it, I'm gonna surrender it," powerful
well,
things happen.
I want to take it back to this chiropractic thing that I talk about a lot. When I'm out doing the work that I do, one of the first things that Dr. Jason was saying there just a minute ago was if you make an impact on one person, you make an impact on the whole family. Well, with chiropractic, if you get the mom and kids under care, eventually the man comes. Like it could be significant other, like partner, boyfriend, husband, doesn't matter. Within a certain amount of time, they're going to see the vibrational frequency of those kids and that wife change or that woman change.
Mm.
That guy's going to say, damn it, I want that too. How do I get that? I want to be like them. They're doing awesome. Their life is great. I want
Mm.
that too. And it's not an expense then, it's something to invest in. But here's the kicker. I see a lot of people out there that will say, I've tried it before. I didn't like it. Or I went to this person, they did it like this. What's your philosophy and advice for somebody that said, I've tried hypnotherapy or I've tried subconscious work and it didn't work? What do you tell those people?
Well, I've been there, done that. I obviously have been certified in hypnosis and NLP and all those things, and we saw that there were limitations, especially with, EMDR.
Mm.
A lot of trauma can be caused from the EMDR because it's aggressive. So yes, we have a lot of clients that have come because everything else didn't work, right? And once they get into clearing with HMT, and then we're able to connect them back to divine, the
Well,
world opens.
like even people that are working with Dr. Jason in groups like his that do the blood work and do the panel work and do the lifestyle modification work. There's probably still people out there that's like, damn it, I've tried this stuff and I got this far. Like, where's the next road? Like, can somebody update the GPS because I can't find the damn address?
Mm.
Like,
Wow. That's interesting, James, that you said that because I will say, not to toot our horns, but Rachel and I are really good at what we do with functional internal medicine. I mean, we just are. But there's also like a glass ceiling that people often hit, remarkably reduced in symptoms. Because again, I think that, cleaning up diet and lifestyle and balancing hormones and getting the thyroid working and metabolism, all that. I mean, there's all good, like
that's good stuff.
mechanic type stuff that we can do with the physical structure that we're all living in, right? But I've also noticed people tend to plateau, and we're very specific when I say these numbers. We actually track symptoms. The way that we do it is we have everyone fill out symptom quantification scoring, and then we track it every month to watch their symptoms getting lower. So the lower, like a score of 0 would be no symptoms. I don't ever expect that. People always have some. And then like a score of like 450 would be like, how are you even like able to fill out this form, right? So at any rate, I've noticed that people get routinely, we like truck through it to like 85%, 90% improved. Like, I mean, like get through it. And then we just kind of hit a wall. Like there's just something there and they're working hard
Yeah.
and they're consistent. And certainly if they fall off the consistency of the things that got them there, they can't go back to the old diet stuff. I mean, then they lose ground.
Well,
But there's something missing. And the
Mhm.
longer again I do this work, the more I know it is about the work that you're actually doing. And it is about that spiritual, breakthrough. And I see it over and over and over again. So can I actually, and I mean, I see it. I think that so many people have experienced it. I see both of you guys nodding your heads in agreement. But here's my question, if I can. I'm going to spin this, Dr. Tiffany, into it's not meant to be a gotcha journalism question, but it's a let's just address something type of question. So I'm going to say that some people that are out there, I won't label those people, more traditionally thinking science people, okay, might say that combining things like metaphysics and, the divine with healthcare or medicine or therapy or whatever the words we want to use here is, right? Taking the one and combining with the other is at best a pseudoscience. And how would you address those particular traditionally thinking science people that are like, this is poppycock, this is woo woo, this is, because I know that there are people that are out there that are going to say that.
First of all, who was the original healer? We go back to biblical times. The original healers were the people that brought you back closer to God, right?
Mhm.
And nowadays, we have proven God by science. I mean, you can see all kinds of different scientific journals where there is proof of an energetic field. And our atoms are filled with the space of energetic field. So it all goes back to who we originally were. And you can go against, just deny it all you want to, but the proof has already been proven. It's already been shown. And we have everything within ourselves to be able to heal. We just have to believe it. We've been programmed to go in front of an authority figure, and if they say it's not going to be healed, then we believe it. But if
That's
you were, yeah, I mean, but if you truly
no
go
hope.
back to divine
Yeah.
and get back to that wholeness, you know you have the power. All the body wants to do is heal.
I just want to throw out two things that are seemingly related, but also tangential to what we're talking about. They've done studies, like Dr. Tiffany was saying, where like a lot of studies in this area of stuff we can't explain. There's many documented studies where a doctor accidentally misdiagnosed somebody with like something terminal.
And they
Like,
believe it.
and they die.
And they die.
They die, and then they're like, "Oh crap, you just had osteoarthritis." I mean, sorry about that. I
There's
didn't.
nothing wrong with
I
you.
looked at the wrong MRI.
Yeah.
And they die anyway. So when we talk about the power of belief and the power of authority figures,
Yeah.
again, parents, teachers, doctors being teachers in this way, and preachers, the power that those people have, it literally is a life or death power. Even if they're not physically harming you, saying those things, and then again, water that down to maybe not a medical misdiagnosis, but just kind of I'm going to speak from my own parents, the bull that my parents said to me over and over and over, and the belief system they attempted to instill into me over and over and over again. I mean, it takes its toll and it's hard to escape that, but
Yeah.
it's interesting, like that belief system. The other thing is, so that seems related to what we're talking about. The other thing is, besides misdiagnosis, they've also done blind, randomized controlled studies, RCTs, where they take a group of like a church and they pray for, and I'm making this part up, but maybe it's the 9th floor, the west wing of the 9th floor at the hospital, right? Now,
Right.
nobody knows like the 9th floor
Yeah.
people don't know what's going on. And the people in the church, it might be in a different city altogether. They probably don't know anybody there. And here's the weird thing. The people at that area will get better.
Yes.
Like they live longer, they get out of the hospital. And it's been studied not just one time, but over and over and over again. And, over in medicine or whatever this traditional thinking is, they're like, huh, that's weird. Like, I wonder what the explanation for that is. And I mean, of course, for me, I'm like, it's just divinity, man. I mean, like, if we stop trying to label it and we're just like, what if it's just God?
Yeah.
Razor is the most obvious solution and the most simplest solution is probably the answer is probably the right answer,
Yeah.
And for this, I'm like, if we just accept that there's a divinity, even a divine source of energy or light or whatever, universe, God, whatever you want to define it, that's threading everything together. I mean, if we just accept that and we can measure that stuff, that's probably what's going on. I don't think we need to.
How much more explanation do we need?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Let's just work with people like you that can help us tap into that and reconnect, remember
Yes.
connection.
Right.
Well, I want to touch on a couple of things too, because you guys both have talked about this, and you talked about like the original healer in biblical times. Well, it's Jesus, number one. And the only thing close enough to Jesus in today's framework is a chiropractor. because there's nobody else putting healing hands on people and adjusting them and restoring them back to their full potentials. There might be other stuff metaphysical and other stuff energetically, but when it comes to like restoring man or woman, the physical, to man or woman, the spiritual, creating an educated intelligence, that's an adjustment. So I think it's really essential for people to know that too, is like you're only as healthy as your nervous system. And if your nervous system's shot, it doesn't matter how much woo-woo stuff we do on the backside of that. You're just not going to be at full potential. And back to Jason's word that he used earlier, I never heard used before, poppycock. What a fun word. But thinking about that, you think about you're talking about healing people on the 9th floor of a hospital. Now think about the coach at halftime that flips the table, that kicks the water cooler, and the team comes out with that spirit of fire in their eyes and they go and win. Like
They believed it.
because they believed that they could go and win. And that's the thing that we need to understand when it comes to this medical paradigm that we all exist in. What is that halftime speech you have to talk to those people that are in your life that you take care of, Dr. Jason, Dr. Tiffany? What is that halftime talk that you give to those people to believe that they're going to go win? Rather than the other side of this game where people are told that their diagnosis is their death. And that's the thing, is our words do carry a lot of energy, whether it's the preachers, the teachers, or the parents. And I believe that there's a lot of things that are coded into the language that we use, the tone that we speak at, and the way that people can understand us and assimilate it. So what you're doing, Tiffany, I think is really, really powerful stuff. And what Jason is doing is really, really powerful stuff. And what Rachel's helping him do and what Gabe's helping you do. But people just don't know how to go find it. So that's the big thing, is we have to build more awareness, like doing podcasts like this and getting people into your live events like the one you're doing out there in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma on October 23rd through 25th. And that's just the kicker, is people, if they knew what we know, they do what we do. Sachin Patel, one of our dear friends, he quoted me saying that like 10 years ago, because I was talking to him about this chiropractic lifestyle. And if people know what we know, they do what we do, and their heads would be on straight. That's the follow-up. But you can even tell this type of information in coaching. Somebody's struggling with business, they get the right coach. They turn themselves in from making $10,000 a month to making $100,000 in a month. So a lot of it's dependent upon who's the person giving you the advice, how you receive that advice, and how you carry on with it. But I think it's really cool what you're doing, Tiffany, is you're actually biohacking people and you're dropping into their subconscious primer as when you start studying what's going on with their physical presence and their biological presence. So then you tap in and you say, okay, this is the part where we need to reprogram. We need to rewire this to connect to the next thing, to where you can give yourself forgiveness for what's happened to your ancestors, like you're talking about. And the trauma that you're containing today won't allow your kid to heal from the ADHD symptoms that they're dealing with. So if we start to circle all this up and start to clear it up, now we have a healthy family in it. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise God. Thank you so much.
America's great again.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, no, it's interesting though, because I mean, I had a discussion with Dr. Bruce Lipton many years ago. I think it might have even been pre-biology, I believe. So I mean, it was years ago. And chatting with him about basically like, when's the best time to start planning for, or what's the best way to have a baby, I guess. And it's interesting because I mean, they were like, that baby needs this, or in the womb, they need this. And Bruce literally was just sitting there for a minute. He goes, I think it begins way pre-conception and really just basically cleaning yourself up and the egg and sperm donor, whoever those people are, coming together, like be the best people that you can be. And not just physically, but like spiritually and emotionally and, regulated and the whole thing. And then bring those people together and then have it be nurturing in the womb and all that. And so when I'm hearing all of this, I love it. But even in this discussion, and the reason I'm bringing this up, even in this discussion, I love what we're talking about. We're still in a reactionary society.
Yeah.
We're still in a society where people are going to, unfortunately, most people are going to discover Dr. Roberts or hear this podcast, and they're going to say, I feel emotionally dysregulated. I feel disconnected. I feel XYZ. And they're going to be adults. Most of them are going to be in there, if they're like our demographic is your demographic, 35 to 65 years old, mostly female, and trying to connect with you on this, but it's still trying to create organization or order in a disordered or disorganized system. I'm trying not to say broken and fixed, right? The reason I bring that up is even with the best of minds on this project, that's where we are societally. And unfortunately, I come back to, wouldn't it be cool if I was just thinking about my little our nephew Noah that started kindergarten today, and his mom said something to the effect of, man, he was so kind of so overwhelmed that I don't think he was scared or excited, like there was so much.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that young and impressionable little Noah. And I'm like, what if we did teach them, hey, everybody, I bet you're feeling overwhelmed today, and that's okay. And here's how we're going to regulate with our nervous system. And we're going to do that for the next 3 weeks. That's all we're going to do. That and nap time and snack time, that's and in recess. Like that's kindergarten for the first month, nervous system regulation. I'm just hearing this story of, God, I hear at least we have the tools in a reactive society. We can say, hey, Dr. Tiffany can help you out. Go work on HMT. This is what it looks like. This is how to connect with her. I just wish that for myself with functional medicine too, I just wish we didn't have the jobs that we have. I wish that we could help society get to a space where I'm not needed, you're not needed, or at least
Wouldn't that be a beautiful place?
in these capacities.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're also in a good emotional space where we're not like, and that doesn't mean my self-worth isn't good. I'm still a valuable and worthy person, and I still love myself, and I'm still part of a good community and society. I mean, there's all these. Anyway, since that we can talk about it, maybe it's within our lifetime of manifestation. I mean, I think maybe we can do this, but if not, maybe the next couple generations. But anyway, I'm done. I'm done with my soliloquy. Reactive, proactive. I don't know how to get there.
Well, touching in, and then a question for Dr. Tiffany. Real story to this is there's no money in healthy people. And if there was like a pathway to monetizing healthy people, we should do that. But what we're doing is we're working off of an old conveyor belt technology system that you get a sickness, you go to the doctor gives you a thing, you go through the course of action, and hopefully you get better. That's been like the old doctoring method from probably the early times of doctoring, from medicine men on. You go find somebody that has the thing to help you with the thing that you have. Who do you go ask? Well, you go ask the smartest person out there, which is the doctor, obviously. But now we're in this conundrum that they used to say that people lie, numbers don't. Now they flip that on its head too, and numbers lie too, and so do people. So we have to like really be a lot more stimulated in our behaviors and our ideas and our vigilance of how we go find the information that's actually trustworthy. And really what's happening is there's a paradigm shift.
I just feel compelled to say, Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens said, there's lies, damned lies, and statistics. So it feels very pertinent to what you're saying, James.
Well, we used to believe that the person that we went to would be our healer. And that's why everybody's bowed down, and then they're this medical mesmerization that if you get something or have a baby, you go to the hospital, but I'll go back to philosophy. If I cut my finger right now, I don't have to look at it and tell it to heal. There's innate intelligence in me, and it's going to heal because that's what it does. Our bodies heal. And that's what we have to start to understand with society is you're not broken.
Right.
You just have to figure out how to let innate flow through you to allow you to heal naturally. You don't need pills, potions, or lotions. You just need to remove the interference. When the interference is moved, the body self-regulates and self-heals. It's amazing. It's philosophy, but it's also applicable, and people can do this.
Man, I'm just thinking about the nervous system as it's hard because, I mean, I try not to think systems pathology. It's hard not to because I'm so trained in systems pathology, right? I mean, it's like everything's in a box and here's how the boxes talk to each other. But at any rate, I'm blown away by the idea that James is talking about that. I mean, I'm just from a chiropractic point of view, again, a structural point of view. Chiropractors say remove the interference and the body's going to work better. I mean, if the universal intelligence, God, can work within the innate intelligence, that's the God within us, the hologram, and educated doesn't get in the way, the things that we think that we know, that try to outsmart God and our innate intelligence. If we can just stay out of the way of that, things work better. But I'm also something about that nervous system that way. But I'm also thinking about the nervous system, and gosh, I'm going to say two things. As the interface, I don't know if that's the right word, the receiver, the interface, but the piece that's also connecting us with spirit.
Absolutely.
I know that we talk about the nervous system like as the relay between all the other, endocrine and the immune system and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's all working that way in the brain and the body and all that. But really, there's another communication going on. And it's interesting because we keep bringing up chiropractic, but BJ Palmer was on a quest to understand, where do thoughts come from? What is a thought? And we still don't really know. We can talk about it and theorize about it, but we don't know. And what is a thought? Is it conscious? Is it subconscious? Is it non-conscious? Where does it stem from? Is it spirit? Are we downloading? Which also, the last thing I want to say, and I'm going to turn over to Dr. Tiffany because I want you to unpack whatever I'm rambling on about. The last thing I wanted to say is, somewhere in what you said, it kind of was akin to, like, we've talked about remembering and reconnecting with who we were and reparenting and all these rewords. But the thing that I keep thinking about is that, yes, we have to remember our divinity. I think that that's a very, important thing for us to remember that divinity. And at the same time, give some acknowledgement to that nervous system and the way it interacts with the spirit. So anyway, Dr. Tiffany, I'd love to hear you unpack the nervous system and what you do and how it relates to, again, removing the interference between the self and the divine self, or the perceived self and the divine self. I don't know if I'm using.
Well, we were always taught thoughts, trauma, toxins, right?
Yeah, right.
But we ignore the thoughts. We're looking at the toxins with all of our detoxing protocols and all of the supplements, and then we do the trauma with our adjustments. But in school, at least when I was there, we didn't talk about thoughts. And I think that that's the most important one that he was talking about. I mean, you've got to rewire the thought process so that we can detox properly. We can have alignment within our spine. Because if you're holding the world on your shoulders, your C1 and Atlas, that's not, however many adjustments you're going to get is not going to hold. If you let go of, he's holding the world, right? You see Atlas, right? He holds the world in his hands. And if we're holding on to that world and it's too heavy, we're not going to be able to stay in alignment, especially with our truths, And I picture that world as the lies that are pressing down on us. You get rid of those lies that are pressing down on you, everything comes back into alignment.
It's interesting too. Gosh, James, I heard you going to jump in here too, but you're right about the world pressing down on us. And we started talking about the body as a beacon or an antenna. And I want to go back to that Carolyn Leaf book that I mentioned with, what is called Cleaning Up Your Mental Mess. She also mentioned in there something to the effect of, and I didn't know this, so this is new information for me, that thoughts actually take up structural space.
Yeah.
And that the shape of the thought, I don't know how to say, I'm going to butcher this, so please make it more sciencey. But the shape of the thought is kind of dictated by, and again, I don't like positive, negatives, bad, good, all that. But basically, if your thoughts are more on the sunny side of the street, they have a different shape and a different effect and a different frequency, a different tone, as James was saying earlier, but a different actual structural shape that our brains shift in the shape that they have based on the thoughts that we have. And they think that nervous system reshift or shape shift might be calling, it's like power of attraction or like attracts like. So like you're almost like attracting more sunshine and more light energy your way. So I don't know. Please help me out. A, am I wrong? But B, if I'm not wrong, what am I talking about?
You're on the right track because thoughts stick to us. Like for instance, if you're angry or resentment, that's going to stick into your liver. That shape of whatever thought that was is going to be the nervous system trigger of my liver is not safe. I'm angry all the time. Or perhaps, you have a heartbreak. Well, now you're going to be having AFib or heart issues or something along those lines. Or if you migraines, maybe you're not feeling supported enough or loved enough. Those things are going to get stuck in our nervous system. And that's what one technique in holographic manipulation therapy works with is we delete it, right? And that's how we unstick those shapes that are stuck to our nervous system.
Well, on top of what you guys are discussing there, this is my takeaway. And then I think we should find a way to get people to work with you, number one. But let's find a way to make money in healthy people. How about that? Instead of saying there's no money in healthy people. And maybe we change the dynamic of the way we look at the world and say there is money in healthy people. And we're going to be the lights that help that. And we're going to be the guides that get people there. And I think that that's what this is. It's a real story of hope. These messages that we're all sharing, whether it be personal stories like you shared earlier, Dr. Tiffany, your story, or the countless stories that you shared about people getting better faster with your systems, or Dr. Jason talking about the foundational work that him and Rachel do to help people, or even me driving people into chiropractic offices by the thousands. There's this underlying thing that there's these people out there that don't want the world to be a better place.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of us out there that want the world to be a better place.
Yes.
And if we live in the headspace that we can make the world a better place, we'll make the world a better place. And that's the real takeaway that I've had from today's full episode is we have the ability to manifest greatness in this world if we unify our thought processes together.
Wow.
And we can change the way that people think about true whole body healing. And the medical model is not broken. It's just antiquated. And yes, if I have a big serious injury, I'm going to go to those experts. I'm going to go to those pros. But really, it's your own responsibility. I tell people this all the time. The number one doctor in the world is the one inside of you. It's not the one you go see. They're your facilitator and your guide. But you have to do it yourself. And I'm kind of famous for saying this to people, but no one's going to do your push-ups for you. You have to be an active participant to get a better worldview and a better lifestyle out of all of this. And I had so many other ideas that went along with that model of what I shared there. But I think that we could all be served better by thinking clearer and loving each other a little bit more and having a little bit more faith and sharing a little bit more hope. And know that there's going to be the yang of it all. There's always going to be the oppositional pull that will never get it right because they don't want to get it right. And they choose, like you said, a person has to choose if it's going to work for them or not. Well, these other people have chosen a different walk. So we just have to keep the faith and be strong and take care of ourselves to where we can break those generational crap things.
Yes.
Wow. That was a lot, James. And I'll tell you what came to mind. Gosh, and Rachel's like, I'm going to give Rachel my far better half or whatever you call that. My compliment to my everything in my life. She's going to say no politics. So I'm going to say this is not a political statement exactly, right? But I will say this. It's interesting because I agree that there's far more people that want the world to be a better place. I really do. I mean, we all meet them. We're all, the three of us and we all live pretty big lives and know a lot of people and come into contact with a lot of people. And I think mostly everybody wants the world to be a better place. They might have differences of opinions on like how to get there, but ultimately I think at heart people are good people and they want everyone to be okay. And I think that there are some people, I don't know the percentage, I think there's some people out there that either don't care or maybe don't want the world to be a better place, but a lot of them profit from it. I mean, just as a journalist, I mean, we all know that what sells, I mean, hope doesn't sell for the most part, not for the long term. What sells is scarcity and fear and the next plague and the next bomb and the next, the next stupid thing somebody put on Twitter and, all this stuff. I mean, that's like, it's just like whatever that is, that's what sells because that's what we're fed in our media. And then the commercials, the corporations that fund the media, I mean, they're directly profiting from that fear agenda, right? But I do believe, and I'm getting there, I do believe there are more people that want the world to be a better place and we can change it. I believe we can change it. And I'm not going to say I'm perfect with this next thing either. Like I have a lot of soul searching to do on what I'm going to say here. But ultimately, the reason that their voice is so loud and their power is so strong is because we just keep giving them money. Like we just keep funding these people. Now, taxes aside and the corruption of possible corruption, probable corruption, definite corruption of taxes, and our federal system, beyond all that, the way we spend our money is how we're funding these people, whether it's with fast food, fast drinks, fast clothing, fast cars. I mean, whatever it is that's fueling we don't need to take care of ourselves, live a hedonistic life, drink whatever you want, eat whatever you want, drink to the devil drink to the devil and dance to the doctor, right? I mean, that's the saying. I mean, it's just really interesting that ultimately we can vote with our pocketbooks. And I'm trying not to be too political with this, but the reality is, I think collectively people want the world to be a better place. And if we just decided to stop spending our money toward companies that, might not have the same agenda, it's just an interesting perspective. If we dry up their resources, it dries up their power very quickly, very, very quickly, very, very,
So
very quickly. And yet
the-
every day, I swear to God, an Amazon box drops on my front door. I don't know how. I don't even buy that much, but I'm like, evidently, so I mean, we're feeding the monster too. I mean, it just is what it is. Sorry, James, go ahead.
no, there is money in healthy people, and let's make it that way.
Well,
Absolutely.
here's the thing, like, if you change your vibration, honestly, what you're wanting right now is not it's not outreachable. What James is saying is not outreachable.
Mm.
We just have to stop focusing on the distraction that it's not enough or that there is people that don't want us to be well, which we all know there is. But my focus has to be on what I want to do for the world, and those people will be drawn to me.
Yes.
So I can't think about all the other people that don't want us
Mhm.
to succeed and the fast food and all that
Mm.
stuff. My focus is what can I do for the world? And
Mm.
those people will be drawn to us.
Well, wrapping this thing up back to us, we're not the outliers. We're the majority.
Yes.
And when we
Yeah.
realize that we're not the
We're just the
outliers,
voice.
we're not
Mhm.
the weird ones. So if you guys are feeling
Oh,
this,
we're
and
the
you wanna
weird
even
ones.
listen,
We're not the
I'm
outliers,
so
and
weird.
we're the weird
Okay, I'm a
ones.
nerd.
well, as soon as you realize that you can be okay with being the weird one,
Mhm.
then more power to you. But societally, they might think that we're the weird ones. So when we look at the side of the line that we stand on, we have to be okay with being the weird ones and the outliers, but just know that the silent majority are just like you. They just don't have the linguistic skills, like you said you didn't have 4 years ago, to get out and tell your truth. And they didn't have the courage to host a show like Dr. Jason and Rachel and I are doing. But we are not the outliers. We're the silent majority, and we're a voice for them. And that's the Get Better Faster movement. That's the Get Better Faster Nation. I know that we're almost at the edge of our time with you today. But is there anything we didn't ask you that you wanted to share with our audience today?
I just want, everyone to know that you're not broken. And that's the first belief that you need. And just remember where you came from.
And if people want to get in touch with you or work with you or take a deeper dive within the things that you're an expert in, where do we send them to?
TheSubconsciousHealer.com. That's a great start. And we have the breaking-free.com where you can, it's a $17 course where you can start breaking free of some of these
Mhm.
old beliefs. And yeah, I mean, we have all kinds of different things, but those are a great start.
And guys, sign up for that $17 course. I always been told that what people pay for, they pay attention to. So tap to pay, hit the Venmo, whatever they do, Cash App, whatever you can do to not pay the extra 3%, do that.
Yeah.
Um, but Dr. Roberts, it's been absolutely transformational conversation. I'm sure Dr. Jason and Rachel would say the same things over on their end.
Yeah,
And
I just want to say, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I know we're wrapping up the show. And again, I think before in the green room earlier, I was like, we're going to get to like an hour and a half and we're going to be hitting
Yeah.
stride. And
We're just getting good.
I have so many other notes. I mean, we didn't even get into like tapping into the subconscious and where does ayahuasca fit in? And does it fit in? I'm not saying it does or doesn't, but I mean, there's a whole bunch of rabbit holes we can go down. So I'm going to just, pause for now and just, preemptively welcome you back to the show at some point in the future and say thank you again for your time today and the discussion and letting me be weird and try to work through things, extrinsically in our discussion. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me here today.
yeah, the silent majority is definitely rooting for all of us to keep
Yeah.
doing more work together. And I'm just going to continue the rollout of saying thank you also. But for our listeners who are ready to break free from the limitations that have been holding them back, whether it's chronic pain, subconscious blocks, or feeling stuck in their personal or professional lives, Dr. Roberts is here for you. You've heard our conversation over the past hour and a half. A lot of really great linear things we put together for people to start investigating for themselves and say nice stuff to yourself too. But she has programs that offer revolutionary approaches to addressing your spiritual, mental, and physical aspects of healing simultaneously. This isn't just another self-help program. This is a deep conscious level transformation and the work that gets to the root of what's been keeping you living from your full potential. Once again, Dr. Tiffany, can you tell them where they can go to if they want to get access to you?
They can go to thesubconscioushhealer.com or breaking-free.com.
And highlight your event that you have ongoing in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and share the dates and details with them.
Mhm. Yeah, you can find more information about that on the breaking-free.com. It's in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, October 23rd through the 25th. And I hope that people that are here live can actually come and be through that, because it's going to be completely transformational. There's going to be deep regression and a lot of life-changing things during that weekend.
And I want to say, Rachel and I want to go to that, but we are unfortunately already booked that weekend. But I'm not planting a seed. But if you do another one in the future, let us know.
Yeah. We usually try to do it in April and
Nice.
October.
Nice. That's perfect.
Yeah. And for all of you listening, remember, nobody's coming to save you. So get to their event. Because solutions like Dr. Roberts, they prove that they can help you save yourself, and through divine guidance and cutting edge healing modalities. I think it's something that people just have to pay attention to if they want to get to that next level of life and get some good guidance. And to all of our listeners, you GBF Nation, thanks for listening and your continued support. You know the best way to show your support? I know Dr. Jason does. Share the show. If you guys like what we've done today with Dr. Roberts, please share this to somebody that needs to hear this message. And don't forget to subscribe and don't miss an episode. Click onto that YouTube thing, the bell, to where you're notified every time something pops off with our show. And also to get the behind the scenes, tomfoolery and hijinks that Dr. Jason and I share throughout every episode. Dr. Jason, pop in.
I just wanted to pop in real fast and say, for sharing this, this popped into my head, so I'm going to say it. For sharing this, like right now, if you said, I wonder who could benefit from this show, I guarantee you a name just popped in your head right now. I guarantee you a name or two or three popped in your head right now. Those are the people to share this with, because for some reason, there's a divine connection to you remembering that or hearing that. They need to hear something in this show. I don't know what it was or what it is, but you've got 3 world experts here all nodding their head like, yeah, that's a real thing. So if you got those names that popped in your head, that's who to share it with, for sure.
And we've got more incredible guests, as Dr. Jason said earlier. We've done 14 of these interviews, and we got another dozen in the pipeline. So there's more people that are going to be on here to blow your mind, just like Dr. Roberts did today, and giving real life solutions to reclaiming your health, your happiness, and your life. Up until next time, keep questioning everything and keep getting better faster. Dr. Jason, Dr. Tiffany, Rachel, thank you so much for this episode. It's been great to connect, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank
you, James. Thanks, Dr. Tiffany. See everybody. Love y'all.
Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Get Better Faster podcast. Join the movement and visit getbetterfasterpodcast.com to find all our episodes, micro content, and resources to help you and your family get better faster.